Hello and welcome to Gameweek 38 of the Premium FPL podcast. Thanks for those who've followed us on this memorable journey in our first year of doing this podcast. Mindy tweeted out yesterday that we've got over 800 followers now on Twitter. So it's been a great year. Been a great year for me on FPL. The last few weeks have been a bit of a damp squib. It's been a terrible season for Mindy, but at least he still showed up and he's still here for Gameweek 38. So well done, Mindy.
I mean, it's not been that bad a season. Like steady on. I mean, bad compared to yours, but Jesus, there's probably listeners who are in the hundreds of thousands thinking what a snob you are.
Yeah, but they don't spend their lives refreshing the Fantasy Premier League website, so that they've got more of an excuse than you.
All right then, fine. All right, I've had a shocking season. There you go. You got me to say it.
All right, don't take it personally. It's just a bit of banter, lad.
You know, I don't do banter. Good start, this, isn't it? I mean, I think one of the achievements is the fact that after all the forfeits and being forced to speak to each other for an hour a week, on top of working with each other, etc., that we're still civil. We're still on speaking terms. That's a result, if anything. I've seen what you do to people you fall out with on the football pitch, so I count myself lucky.
You'd have to run on the football pitch to do any damage.
Don't like to break a sweat. But yeah, like you were saying, it's been a bad few weeks for you. The past few, like I've just been going up and down, and then down and down and down. So while I have mostly enjoyed the season and the challenges and whatever, I'm very much looking forward to starting afresh next season. We've said, haven't we, how hard this year has been compared to a normal FPL season. So I'm hoping.
Yeah, go on. Me personally, I just got carried away. I had nine green arrows in 11 weeks, and it's followed by 4 red arrows the past 4 weeks. So yeah, I think I just got carried away. Still been a great season, but anything I've done this last 4 weeks, other than bringing big Nat Phillips, who got a goal and clean sheet, he saved me last game week. But before then, every transfer I was making, DCL, Pickford, it was all going to pot really.
Yeah. I mean, we're on. Should we just get into the game week review then? Your score was higher this week, wasn't it?
Was it? I got 53. What did you get?
47 minus 4.
Right, yeah, I'll go first. Yeah, 53 minus 4, so 49. I think not many people did great this week. Obviously, Salah didn't score. Kane didn't score or assist. Too busy bibbing on the pitch in his last game. But I'm sure we'll move on to that later. Yeah, big Nat Phillips and Trent kind of saved me with the clean sheet and goal for Phillips, and obviously clean sheet for Trent. Trent had 3 shots and goal, as we know, with the bet. One to look out for at the weekend, Trent shots, isn't it? We both had success with that. Pickford clean sheet. So it wasn't a terrible decision to bring him in last week because he kind of paid with the clean sheet there. Luke Shaw, I've had him in for about 10 weeks now, and he's just flat as to deceive, doesn't he? United always seem to concede, and he doesn't get a goal or an assist, but he seems to be the most creative player. It's bizarre. And then Salah, Son, blanking, Greenwood, who I brought in. So I made my transfers on the golf course this week because I almost forgot. 1 minute before deadline, I brought in Greenwood and Phillips for Kufal and I can't remember who. Kufal and Jota, sorry. Yeah. So before Phillips scored, it looked like terrible transfers again, but that kind of paid dividends in the end. So yeah, Phillips came in, Greenwood came in blank. Fernandez, say what you want, got lucky with the assist. Lingard got a late assist for Antonio, which was good. He's obviously blanked a lot last few weeks, and that means he'll probably stay in my team for 38. He's earned that place, I think. And they got a nice fixture, Southampton, and then Kane blanking and big Calvert-Lewin blanking. It's brought him in for them 2 great fixtures, Sheffield United and Wolves, and he's got 4 points. So yeah, that will probably go down as one of my worst transfers of the season.
I mean, you say what you want. That Bruno thing wasn't an assist. He didn't touch it. He did not touch it.
Great assist, that.
Yeah. Anyway,
They need that cricket. What's that cricket? That cricket thing where they can see. What is it called? Some edge, ultra edge, isn't it?
Snickometer or something they call it. I don't know if that's the proper word, but yeah.
Showing off our cricket knowledge now, aren't we?
I don't even want to go through my week this week. So I had quite high hopes for it, and the biggest disappointment was the captain, Kane. I think I fell into a bit of recency bias, I think, with the Kane captain. I saw the stats of how many shots Aston Villa conceded against Crystal Palace. And I just thought, well, if they concede that many shots against Crystal Palace, they're on the beach, and they just let themselves go that much that Crystal Palace are running riot on them, then Kane in his rumoured to be his final home game of the season. I fell for the narrative a little bit, but it was going to be Kane or Salah for me. I wasn't really considering Bruno, so I've only lost 2 points there, basically. The other main talking point for me was until the news that Bale was an injury, that was a doubt because of him not being able to play games in quick succession, which took me by surprise. All I was gonna do was bring in Willock and play Rudiger as a player 4 at the back, and then bench Jota, and then in the end, with that Bale news, I was thinking, well, if Bale doesn't play and Jota doesn't play, and there was rumors about Greenwood not playing, I was like, I could end up with like 9 players there. So I ended up taking a -4 to bring in Rafinha for Jota, and then Mane for Bale. Bale didn't end up being able to start, so I was kind of justified in that sense. But as my flatmate's been reminding me all day today, I would have been better off not taking the hit and just playing Rudiger because he scored. So yeah,
Rafinha got you a clean sheet though. You got to be happy with that, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got to be happy with that 1 point. That'll see me right for the end of the season. The Mane assist was welcomed. Otherwise, I really would have been fuming because then I would have been, my week really would have been on its arse. I can't think what else to mention. You covered the disappointment of Calvert-Lewin. Luca Dean got me 8 points. That was something. A couple of bonus from him as well. But yeah, what a disappointment Everton have been, basically, at the end of the season. That's it, really. I think the rest of the players are the same as yours. So 47 -4, and my rank is now 33. Where was I the week before? That's a red arrow, that. So I've fallen from 27 to 33k.
Right, yeah. I think I've dropped a few hundred. 100. I've gone from 4,000 to 4,134. And I tweeted out earlier that probably the 1K dream is, well, definitely over unless I bring in a captain who's going to get an hat-trick. But I'm still on course to beat my best finish, which is 4,900. So, yeah, if I can keep rank the last game of the season, which isn't a given the way it's going, then I'll be happy with that. So, yeah, fingers crossed for 38.
One positive to come out of this then is you won't beat my best rank. So that's one positive.
What's your best rank?
2,264.
No, I'm not. Unless I bring in a real captain. City player, maybe?
I just had to get that in there for any listeners who are listening and thinking, God, this Mindy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And shit season. Just going to listen to Callum. So yeah, just
well, my mate's chasing down second in the mini league, and he said, have you got a number for FPL Mendy? So he shows you how much of an impact you have and can't even know your name.
FPL Mendy. I mean, fair enough. What was I going to say? What do you think my goal should be for the end of the season now?
Log out.
find a new hobby.
No, what's your rank? 33k, top 30k.
Yeah. It's so disappointing, isn't it? I don't know. I'm caught between two stools. I either have a sensible goal like that and just captain Salah this week, play it sensible basically, and just make sure I have at least a decent-ish end to the season with this rank. Like it's a respectable rank, despite being a lot lower than yours. Or I go balls out, flip the mattress, reverse cowgirl, everything, bareback, and just go for a completely mad captain last day. And yeah,
it's all a facade with you.
What do you mean it's all a facade with me?
You're missionary like me. You just don't do it as good.
I've
Where's these massive punts you've had all season? There's been zero. It's all talk.
Well, I stuck to my guns and went without Salah at the start of the season, and you pussied out like 10 minutes before the deadline.
Oh wow, game week 1. Where's it going from there?
I've been doing I've done a few moves like that throughout the season.
I'm winding you up. You just give it the big one, saying, who are you going to bring in? What are you going to do? You're going to captain. Why aren't you captain Josh Madger at home to Newcastle? Go on, do it.
I mean, there's a difference between an educated gamble and just being completely batshit insane.
So we'll move on to Game Week 38 because obviously we're going to do some few end of season special awards, and I'm sure that'll take up a lot of time. So we might as well cover off 38 now and discuss your potential move.
Should we not talk about some of the talking points from 37 quickly?
I've covered most of
it. Have you?
Yeah, I covered the majority of it in my intro, but I'll run through it. Yeah, so Everton obviously shit, so they're looking. You got City away next, and my advice is bench Everton or sell them where possible. Leeds flying ahead of that last home game of the season, so they're obviously going to feature in both our thoughts with players that we're going to bring in. Obviously, Bamford goal and assist. Rafinha flat to deceive again a bit, but you think last game of season surely in front of the home fans, the Leeds fans are going to absolutely love him and he'll want to put an impression. United weak. I actually had a bet on them to beat Fulham, -1 on the handicap, and I thought quids in after Cavani scored, but it's not looking.
What a goal it was! Obviously I was fuming that the assist was going to be given, but couldn't help but admire that finish, the way it was taken.
Brilliant, but United playing the best team against a relegated team, it's kind of good that they've built up a bit of cushion ahead of the top four, because if United were having to win on Sunday at Wolves, if I was a United fan, I would not be fancying it. So, yeah, the options in the weekend. I still think Greenwood will play just because I don't think he's going to be in the first 11 for the final. It's more Bruno I'll be worried with. Luke Shaw I'll be definitely worried about. I think Tellers will get the game. I've seen a few things saying Ollie will go strong again on Sunday, but will he want another injury if Maguire's not fit? I know Fred and McTominay are pretty touch and go now as well. So it's going to be an interesting one Sunday with United assets. My advice there, probably keep Greenwood, but Bruno, etc. Probably, I don't know. It depends what you need to do. And then Liverpool, obviously, along with Leeds, they're the two teams you got to be targeting this weekend. Was it 3-0 against Burnley? Yeah. Oxford Champion got third, didn't he? So yeah, Liverpool, Salah, Mane, Trent, Phillips, kind of fill your boots really, and who you want to get in. But yeah, I think there's definitely teams to target for this last game week, isn't there?
What about Chelsea? They still need a win, don't they?
Yeah, Chelsea, Leicester, and Liverpool. But my worry about Leicester is if they're tight in the second half and they're obviously playing Spurs, they're going to have to properly go for it. And I don't think it's in their nature. So that might open up. That might actually help Spurs to an extent, because they're 4 goals behind Liverpool and goal difference. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
And then Is there anything else to talk about? We mentioned. I thought it was funny that Pepe did well because I think sort of jokingly we ran through Arsenal's differential options last week, didn't we? ESR and Pepe, and I never really considered them, but if anybody did, they've done well there.
Should have got Josh on the podcast. Guy knows what he's talking about.
Why did he have an Arsenal player?
No, just joking. Yeah, they've won 4 in a row now, so they've obviously won for 5 in a row. And if they win and Spurs get beat off Leicester, they actually finish above them, and that'll be after the season that Arsenal have had. To finish 7th would be from nowhere, really. There was question marks in the season where they made top half. So yeah, Arteta's bought himself a bit of time, hasn't he, in the summer transfer window.
And what about West Ham? Have we talked about them?
No, they've got Southampton, haven't they, at home last game? I watched a bit of the Southampton Leeds game. Southampton actually looked decent. Right. I think they were a bit unlucky, to be fair. But yeah.
Did you catch any of West Brom, West Ham?
No,
I missed that one as well. But yes, so something I've heard is that, or something I've read is Antonio's like 2 goals off being West Ham's top goal scorer or something. Hang on, let me check that. He's chasing some form of record.
Might be Premier League goal scorer.
Yeah,
that probably sounds about accurate. Yeah, and he'll be on penalties now, won't he? Because obviously Declan Rice missed it, and Antonio got asked after the game, will he be taking the next one? He said absolutely. So I don't know if he said it a bit tongue in cheek or a bit of banter in the dressing room, because obviously they've won. It's probably just ribbing his mate. But yeah, that'd be an interesting one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else we've missed to talk about from the game's just gone. I don't think so. I'm sure we'll get to it as we go. So yeah, go on. Game week 38, best punts and captain thoughts. Should we do captain thoughts first? It's probably the easiest.
Yeah, this will obviously help people. Last game of the season, we'll be chasing down the mini league. Hopefully we can give you some gold advice that'll help you secure victory or hold on to your mini leagues if you're in front. I think this week, if you want to hold rank, if you in front in the mini league, or you're quite happy where you are in the overall position, then it's a no-brainer, really. It's Mo Salah.
Yeah.
At home to Crystal Palace. I think if you want to have a bit of a punt, then that's when we probably talk other people come into play. Obviously, Kane's chasing the Golden Boot as well. And the last away, it could be his last game for Spurs. I know the home game was a bit emotional, but the fans not being there might actually help him for his last away game, if that is to be his last away game. If you're building the same narrative that you had last game, then maybe this time around it might fruition. Still tempted by, it's gone down a lot now, but that Sergio last game, Everton. The press conferences are all.
It's gone down a lot. Thursday. Do you mean the erection or your motivation for?
Just the hopes, really. He's not been in the squad, has he, since that missed penalty? Pep said he's been injured, but he's probably been in the naughty boys room. Whether he brings him out for that last game will be interesting. I mean, he missed a penalty. Obviously, we know it now, Panenka, but if he's starting and they do get another one, it'll take a lot for another City player to take it, I still think. So,
Are Everton still fighting for anything? Like, what will their motivation be like for this game?
Is it like UEFA Conference League? So top 7, they say, is Europa League, some form of European competition, because there's that new UEFA Conference League. So,
all right, and so they're level in effect with Tottenham as well.
Yeah, so there's Tottenham, Everton, Arsenal are all chasing that, to be honest.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I'd be keen on Kane as a punt in that game. Could be another type. Could get and Everton, like as underwhelming as they've been, they rarely get spanked.
You mean Aguero?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Aguero. Yeah, I wouldn't even if he said he was definitely going to start. I'm not sure I'd be that.
Yeah, they've been underwhelming at times, haven't they? But they've never really been battered, like you say. Yeah, they're normally getting beat like 1-0 and can't break a team down. The only other one is Burnley, Chris Wood away at Sheffield United, but Sheffield United have actually looked a lot better, haven't they, the last two? Obviously, they got beat 1-0 against Newcastle, but then they beat Everton the game before that. So I don't think they'll just be whipped like you would have thought 2 weeks ago. We thought because we brought in DCL. Few other options.
Chris Woods, he was taken off early in the game or so ago as well, and I've heard that Sean Dyche has been talking about like how long and hard the season's been, and he kind of sounds like he's not happy to take his foot off the pedal, but he's fine to let some players have some minutes and that sort of stuff now that they're safe. So yeah, I'm not sure about Chris Wood now either. He did look good a few weeks ago, like really good.
I think for me, if you were going to go down the differential route, the fixture that stands out has got to be Leeds West Brom, hasn't it? The first time the fans have seen them in the Premier League for what is it? It's over 10 years, isn't it? And just the way they've been playing the last couple, really, they've been blowing teams away, haven't they? And West Brom, obviously relegated. Last game against West Ham, it didn't look too great. Allardyce is going, so the players won't have too much emphasis to go all out. I think that could be a game for goals, especially to get an early one. So Bamford or Rafinha. If I'm not going for Salah or Kane, that would probably be the next step I'd go to.
So your three for captaincy order this week is Salah, Kane, and then Bamford or Rafinha.
Yeah, my only worry about Bamford is I know he got a goal and assist. Is Rodrigo has been playing a lot better, hasn't he? When he's come on the last few games. I think Bielsa probably think the home fans he'll play his best team, won't he? So yeah, I don't think he'll be the more doubt is him coming off if he's not scored.
Yeah. So my order would be a bit different actually. So I'd have Salah top, and then it would be Mane second for me. I think because I know that the goal difference is now quite good, isn't it, between Liverpool and Leicester? But
yeah, they just need to win.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, will this, just in case Leicester score 2 or 3, they might just still want to make sure they've got that cushion just in case. And I think Mane is the most. If we're saying that like Salah has the best fixture and he's the best captain, like Mane has the pedigree to like go off in the same way Salah does. So I think I'd go Mane over Kane because 1, the fixture, 2, just the momentum Liverpool have now, and 3, how bad Tottenham were by all accounts the week just gone. And the fact that game against Leicester could be very cagey. So
who would you be third option?
A third option, would probably be, it would either be, to go different to you, I'm going to say Antonio. But yeah, I think the Leeds player is a good shout as well.
And my transfer this week, I'm probably I'm going to do Calvert-Lewin to Bamford. I mean, Bruno kind of, I don't think he'll play, but you don't know, do you? Like, I saw someone point out that this Sunday game's obviously at 4:00 and the Wednesday game's night, isn't it? 8:00. So that's almost, it's 3 days and 4 hours rest. And that's plenty enough, isn't it, for Bruno? So yeah, I won't be in a rush to take him out, but my first sub will be Holding, who will probably get 90 at home to Brighton. So yeah, kind of just pray that Bruno's going to play, really. The only other option would be Bruno to De Bruyne, but yeah, the press conferences are tomorrow, aren't they? Whether some managers might go early and say what team they're going to put out. I don't think it'll be as clear cut as that, but they might give some indication.
It's a good point, actually. On the last game week of the season, managers are they do say like, oh, X is going to get a run out or something like that. Sometimes they do give up a bit more information than they normally would. So I would, if you're a geek like me who refreshes the FPL site every 10 seconds, as Callum says.
Even just hold your transfer this week, because you might get some early team news on Twitter the morning of if it doesn't come in the press conference. So yeah, unless you really, the player you really want might go up in price the night before If that's the case, then go for it. But anyone else, I reckon just wait till like 3 hours. Maybe don't set a timer so you don't forget about your team. But yeah, hopefully some new team news might come out early on the day.
Are you going to be on the golf course again on Sunday when you do your transfer?
Now I'm working, so I'm all right. I'll be refreshing my fantasy Premier League.
I think for me it's going to be Calvert-Lewin out as well, and it's either Antonio or the Leeds option or Bamford. Captain.
There he is. I thought you were going to show a bit of cojones this week.
Well, I think if for my like little gamble, I might just do what I was saying about Captain Mane instead of Salah.
Yeah, I suppose if he gets 2 or 3 and Salah blanks, that might get you into 20k. That.
Because I mean, when you look at it with my rank now 33, let's say I go Salah and like have just a little bit above average week, and I finish, and I get into the top 30k. Is that any different than like falling 20,000 players? Like, I don't know. Is being 30k that different to being 50k? I might as well just have the gamble and see if I can get into the top 20. At least that's something that actually people talk about. A top 20k finish. I don't think a top 30k finish isn't something I can like put in my Twitter bio, is it? so yeah, it's just
maybe your Tinder bio, mate.
I mean, yeah, anything without my Tinder bio at the moment. So yeah, maybe. But yeah, it's an interesting one. It's something to think about over the next day or two. But yeah, I've definitely gone off Kane completely. I wonder if some people might actually do Kane to Aguero this week. I wouldn't recommend that, but that could be something people do if they've been really pissed off.
Yeah, well, maybe if Pep says in his press conference we're gonna give him a proper send off and play him, then yeah, because if fans are gonna be there, aren't they, as well? So yeah, it'd be interesting.
Is there anyone we've missed? Just quickly looking through the games to mention as a differential captain this week. I think siding with the home teams kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, you would say that, but
looking
at the fixtures, yeah, there was 5 away wins, 4 home wins, and a draw. So yeah, it's not as clear cut as the home team. But you would fancy Liverpool at home and your Leeds at home. Yeah, I think that's the way to go.
All right, so if we're not just favouring the home teams, then we said Chelsea is still in need of a result. Anyone at Chelsea?
The problem about Chelsea is they tend to win games 1-0, don't they? I know Werner's looked a bit better recently. Havertz obviously looks a bit better, but
I think Havertz is an injury doubt.
Is it?
That's why the long lost Tommy Abraham managed to make the bench the other day against Leicester.
Oh God. I think Chelsea will grind out that result because I think it'll be 1-0. I think they know what the job in task, don't they? The job in hand. I don't think they're good. Job in task. That didn't make sense. I don't think they're going to blow a Villa away. Could be wrong, but
you know what? I've just realised you've gone 30 minutes of this podcast without using your catchphrase. Stick on captain.
What's that? Stick on captain.
Does that suggest you considering a gamble? Salah doesn't actually stick on captain.
My only way I'd sway from that is Aguero, but I don't think I'm going to bring him in. If I bring in Aguero, it's captain. Got to be. But unless Pep says I'm going to lay out Aguero and I'm going to make sure my players feed him the goal, then. But yeah, I don't think it's likely.
So speaking of Pep, just quickly, that image that was going around of him with the cigar, was that recent? Or was that from
yeah, that was after we won the league.
Right.
It's quality, that, isn't it?
So if you if you do somehow, so if you do beat your best rank from the previous season, are you gonna recreate that image for the content for the Twitter?
Yeah, I'll be up for that at our FPL premium end of do party. I'll be there. I'll be there.
Oh yeah,
Cigar.
we have mentioned maybe having a get together, haven't we? For yeah, I'm not sure. So I was out with Zach from our mini league yesterday, and it was an awful evening with Kane blanking and him just sat there rubbing it in my face as Bruno captain now. So yeah, I might have to see if I'm still up for that in a couple of weeks. See if I can be asked socialising with you lot. Yeah, I'm sure we've got some funny content to come, and we've got plans for the break. Hopefully, get some guests for podcasts.
Yeah,
maybe
hoping to come back.
we'll do some streams. Like maybe we could do one that's just like it's all a bit fresh and a bit raw at the moment. But biggest mistakes and learning points, what we're going to do differently next season, that sort of thing. We kind of did it in one of the international breaks, didn't we? But it'd be good now season's ended just to do something like that. Have a couple of beers, take it a bit easier. Hopefully, you can get through a stream without saying "stick on captain." Even though you won't be picking a captain in that week, I'm sure you'll find a way to say it.
I've not said it this week.
Yeah, if you've got anything you want us to look at for the break, let us know. But I think we'll get into the
we'll move on to
end of season awards.
Yeah, we've digressed there. We've probably got about 20 minutes left. So we wanted to. It was Varun, one of Mindy's good friends, came up with a suggestion of doing an end of season FPL awards.
Good friend, strong. He's somebody that I used to know, like his acquaintance.
What the hell? He sound like got you.
That's what I was going for.
All right. So yeah, we wanted to hand out some end of season awards. Obviously, not in person, and there's going to be an award receiving from the players, but we wanted to do it obviously from our point of view. I know people have their own opinions, well, depending on who they've had this year. So obviously, me and Mindy are going to have completely different opinions, but we've got a few awards, and we'll run through quickly why we've chosen them. And yeah, so the first one is play of the season, and up until about 10 game weeks ago, for me, it would have been nailed on Grealish. I had him since game week 1, I think. Might have to double check that, but I had him very early. And for me, he was the standout player of the season until he got injured. That was very unfortunate. And Villa have kind of dropped off since then, but he was a points merchant, wasn't he? And yeah, every week I just look forward to seeing him play, especially when he's in my team. But because he's been out, I've given it to the man who was in my team up until they played my second wild card, and I probably regretted it ever since, by Mendy and Forster. I know he's not scored many points, but at least he's played every game. So my FPL player of the season is one of the highest scorers. I think he's on course for the highest goalkeeper finish, which will be interesting. Is Bobby Martinez. So yeah, he's my player of the season.
So for your fantasy player of the season, you're going for a goalkeeper. Missionary by name, missionary by nature. Jesus, you don't properly live in the brand there, aren't you? Going for a goalkeeper.
Well, it's a differential in itself, picking a goalkeeper. I just think it's his first season at Villa. He's pretty much transformed that team from a relegation team with him and Ollie Watkins, haven't they? From a relegation threatened team into top half finish, or the 11th. Sorry, I got that wrong, but close to a top half finish. Well, it would have been a top half if Grealish was fit. I just think the points that he's had throughout the season, teams that have had him all year have been in such a better position than not, and I just think he deserves it. FPL, he's been a dream for anyone who's owned him really all season.
It's a dream. Right, should I do my one for that now, and then you go on, or are you going through all yours?
Yeah, you run through it.
Okay, so my one's Fernandez. He's got the top
Any reason why?
He's the top points in the game, and I think the fact that
All right, what are we going to do when we do the bargain? Are you going to do best points per? Have a bit of opinion. Don't just look at the.
No, well, yeah, no.
Right.
If you let me finish, I think there was a lot of reluctance at the start of the season from a lot of people to get him. Like everyone was just talking about these pens won't carry on, and all the cliche Penandez chat. And he's just proven to be consistent all season, especially in away games, which people took a while to cotton on to. And yeah, he's been a captain option all season as well, linked to his consistent performance. And yeah, just I don't think. Yeah, there wasn't. The only other person that I considered was maybe for. Well, I'll get onto him later, but the only other player I considered got one of the other awards. So yeah, I've gone for Bruno.
All right, move on to surprise player. So this is surprise FPL player, and for me, the only option here was Ilkay Gundogan. Moved from a pivot position I've had a look at his game week 13 to 24, where he scored the majority of his points, and I think I must have got him in about 14 or 15. It wasn't too long after he started hauling anyway, because I kind of seen what position he was going to be playing for City. And yeah, anyone who had him at that time, against Spurs, he got 19 points. So that was 2 goals and an assist. And he was about 6 million at that time, wasn't he? Was he now? He's 5.6, so he's obviously gone a bit down as he's slipped out of people's teams. But yeah, for me, surprise player, Ilkay Gundogan, in FPL terms.
So if I was to critique that one, I'd say it was a very long purple patch, wasn't it? But it wasn't like throughout the whole season.
No, it was 13 to 24, yeah.
Yeah. So my surprise FPL player of the season would be Dallas. I just think his goal threat's been consistent throughout the season. Been playing in midfield so much, which took people by surprise. A lot of clean sheets in there as well, which obviously wraps up his point totals. So yeah, can't. I think this season for him has been better than Lundstrom's season last season, and everyone was talking about Lord Lundstrom and all that. So yeah, got to give it to Dallas.
Lord Dallas, are you going to call him after this?
I think he'll need his own one, won't he? If it was Lord Lundstrom, he'd need his own. What's better than a Lord?
I don't know. That begins with D. Are we doing the alliteration?
Or just something that's. We'll have to come back to that. You caught me on the
op. Bargain buy. So for me, I think you've obviously done it for the whole season, but I think when I played that second wild card, what was that? That must have been. It must have been around 24 because we both played it at the same time, didn't we? 24, 25. Sorry, obviously 31. But was it that late? Bloody hell. But yeah, obviously we played wildcard, so for them last. So when I had them seven up ranks in a row, I think Lingard and Iheanacho were at the heart of it. And yeah, they kind of got me into where the position I am really, from that 20k into the at 1.2k. I've since dropped down a bit, but yeah, for me, that purple patch from them two was unbelievable. And to split them, I'd probably go Lingard just because he's done it over a longer period of time. And Kelechi was very much like 4 or 5 weeks, wasn't he? Even though he scored again last week. So, and at one point, Lingard was all talk of the town, when he Lingardinho and stuff. I think I've got fonder memories of the second half of the season. The first half was very much like Gundogan City defense.
It's Lionel Jesse. It's Lionel Jesse. It's not Lingardinho.
At least the second half of the season, there's been a few more like clubs that you wouldn't normally associate with being the best FPL players. First was, like I say, it was very much City, and then Bruno, Kane, Salah, wasn't it? The second half's been nice because there's kind of different players that were merged.
Yeah, just to be different, I'm going to go Kelechi on that one. Bargain. I guess
I mean,
it doesn't.
the
It doesn't.
6 million forward just to turn into like 12 million forward, because that's what he was playing as, wasn't it? Even the Chelsea game where he came on, he still looked lightning. And he didn't have a great FA Cup final, but other than that, he's been last month or so.
Yeah, and yeah, even though he wasn't great in that game in particular in the FA Cup final, the fact that they've won a trophy, he helped them get there. I think he was really good in the game against United when they knocked us out in that game. So yeah, I'll go Kelechi on that one. So it's not really an award. This, I think you just want to brag about your best week here, don't you?
I don't know. I'll move. I'll do the biggest disappointment first. So the
Okay.
biggest disappointment for me was probably Aubameyang. Like the first week, everyone was like midfield position. You get an extra point for a goal, clean sheet. I think you had him in instead of Salah, which was probably the start of the end, even though it was game week 1 for you. No, but I think everyone was like, this is a cheat code. Obviously, come off the back of 2 very good seasons, and yeah, he's been a big disappointment. Obviously, in the football world, has been the biggest disappointment, but FPL especially, because that midfield reclassification was huge at the time, wasn't it? In that off season, and he's been bad.
Just checking how many points he actually got. Oh, he got 128. Yeah, that is pretty bad. My disappointment of the season is, especially when you factor in the team he's playing in and how well they've done and how bad his season's been compared to his normal performance. It's Raheem Sterling. And yeah, you speak about me never taking punts. One week when everyone was on Salah captain, I went for Sterling as well as a differential against Leeds, and yeah, I shouldn't have done that.
How many points did he get?
2. Just a nice steady 2. Didn't get booked, so I took comfort from that. Yeah, Raheem for me, biggest disappointment of the season, fantasy football.
Sweet. And then the best week, when I was going through, everyone's over the course season has a great week. I think my brother's was last week. He shot up the rankings, so it shows you it can come late, it can come early. You just never know. But my game week was 141, game week 19, and that was unbelievable. I think my game rank was 24,000 in the world, and it's rare that you get a game week rank so high because there's so many players like to get that rank, and everything just came off. Triple captain De Bruyne, Bruno, Grealish, Kane, Antonio, all triple figures, and then John Stones. That was the week where he got 27. Diaz 18. That week stands out for me. I can still remember that game week, and it brings back some great memories.
While you've just been talking, I've just been making screwing up my face and just feeling disgusting because I'm just going through all my game week ranks. I don't have anything that comes close to 24k. So I'm not really sure I have a standout week of the season, as depressing as that sounds.
There's got to be one, surely.
They're just sort of. I think my highest game week rank was 75k, which isn't even. But yeah, maybe that's the story. I mean, it fits with my persona on this podcast, doesn't it?
So Mindy's best game week is none. So yeah, that fits it well. That's the way to end. And then a few little funny awards we're going to hand out is the first one is the memorable moment, and FPL. If you play FPL and you follow it on Twitter, for me, well, for both of us, really, there's only one standout moment, is it? And that's the Jack Grealish, the whole FPL unveiling that it was the FPL Insider. It was unveiled by Aston Villa players transferring him out, and then he got asked in the press conference, Dean Smith, and he's like, "No, he's not injured." And then he was like, "I live in the real world, not the fantasy world." And then it turns out he was injured. He wasn't in the squad. And then Dean Smith was like, "Oh yeah, it was just a late fitness test, but he'll be back next week." And then it just lingered on, didn't it? And then the whole reports that came out saying he was out for 6 weeks, and he completely denied it. And then ended up being out for like 2 or 3 months. So yeah, that was probably the moment where FPL peaked, and it kind of showed you the effect that FPL is having on the Premier League now. Because a few players were banned from playing it after that, weren't they? So yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, it was that triggered the whole thing, wasn't it? The Aston Villa players taking Grealish out of their own teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen so many articles about like how fantasy football is impacting football. So many like editorial features across the Telegraph, the Athletic, etc. It's definitely a moment. Blunder of the season. Actually, we should probably caveat this. We came up with these like 10 minutes before we started recording, so we might have missed something like completely that just blows some of these out of the water. But in the 10 minutes that we had before we recorded, the thing that stuck out was Joe Hart when he was it on Instagram, an Instagram story. He was congratulating the team on making it through to the next round of the Europa League when they just lost 3-0 and crashed out. So that was
Fucking hell.
Can you imagine walking into the dressing room the next day after you've done that?
I mean, to be fair to him, it was probably his PR team, but yeah, even still.
It must be how you feel when you have to, whenever you have to speak in a meeting, just like complete embarrassment. That face, what was that face?
What? Offensive, that.
Getting you back for your little jibes at the start.
It's all right. No one would listen to this far, so I'm well escaped, so I'm all right. And then the honourable mention. Obviously, he's had a Cinderella story now, scoring a header. But at the time, was it the City game where
Liverpool City, yeah.
Yeah, that really put a nail in the coffin of City, and Alisson was playing passes to City players, and I remember Carragher just like after one pass was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Like, yeah, he was raging.
I didn't realize you were going to go for the Carragher impression there.
It wasn't. It was more Scottish, but yeah, he was like, that's the first time I've ever like heard Carragher like act like a fan, like pretty much.
Yeah, and yeah, the Alisson Blunderland memes and all that stuff afterwards, just to rub salt in the wounds. It's a mean place, isn't it? Social media, but it's funny.
So yeah, I think that wraps up our 2020-2021 review. Just like to say it's been a pleasure recording with you all season, Mindy. It's been easier for me because I've been doing well. I think if I was in your position, I probably would have given up by now. So fair play for you to still coming on and showing good faith.
I think if I was going to quit, it would have been game week 1, the week when I didn't have Salah and you captained him, and I was 40 points behind from the start. I did just think, I could just nip this in the bud now.
We wouldn't be in this position, would we? We'll probably be talking about it in a meeting. Like, remember when you did that podcast for 1 week? But, yeah, we've got this far.
So yeah, we've done one season. Let's see what happens.
It's been an intense season as well, hasn't it? The last few game weeks really been a bit draining for me, really, doing FPL. I think I'm ready for it to be over. It's been a great season, but yeah, I want to recharge the batteries and hopefully bring you some great fresh content next season. We want to get a few guests on. We want to try and really put us front foot forward. You haven't really had time to do that this season because you record a podcast every week, sometimes every 3 days. So yeah, hopefully the break will give us a chance to put our best foot forward. And if anyone has any suggestions how we can grow the podcast, grow our brand, and more ideas, the merrier, really.
Yeah, I should probably say, if you have listened to all during the season and we've helped, or it's been funny listening to us destroy each other on this podcast, if you could recommend us to mates and stuff for next season, as well as liking and sharing and whatever. But be good to get more people listening. And yeah, I think that's it. That's it. We'll probably take a few weeks off before we do anything. I reckon the next one we'll do will be when FPL opens up again, probably when the player prices start coming out and that sort of stuff, when interest picks back up again. So
make a bit of preview content. Yeah,
make the most of the month where you don't have to listen to us. And yeah, get ready for next season.
Yeah, good luck for Gameweek 38, and yeah, have a nice summer.
Yeah, if you want to, obviously, if you want to keep on top of how our Gameweek 38 goes, we'll we'll be either crying or celebrating on the Twitter account on Sunday. So check us out there, premium_FPL. All right, that's it. Thank God it's over. See ya.